ordered.
November 4th, 2025, Da Nang, Vietnam. What began as days of relentless rain quickly turned into a nightmare no one expected. In just 2 minutes, powerful landslides tore through residential areas, burying homes and leaving devastation in their path. Central Vietnam was once again forced to face nature's fury. After days of heavy rainfall, rivers in Thua Tien Hue and Da Nang swelled beyond their limits. Gentle streams became raging torrents, swallowing fields, roads, and entire neighborhoods. As locals fought to recover from the flooding, a new threat began forming offshore: Typhoon Kalmaegi. Forecasters warned it could reach winds equivalent to a Category 17 storm as it pushed toward the South China Sea, putting the entire central region on high alert in Da Nang's mountainous zones. The danger didn't stop with the rain. One landslide after another struck the area, each one carving destruction down the hillsides. In Phuc Tan Commune, tragedy nearly struck a small community. While the rain continued to pound, the softened hillside gave way, collapsing into homes below. A 38-year-old man was trapped under the debris. Rescue teams raced against time, and at 3:30 in the afternoon he was pulled out alive with only minor injuries. 17 others barely escaped, shaken but grateful to be alive. For the people of Da Nang, it's another painful reminder that nature's power can strike without warning, and resilience remains their only option. After the disaster, local authorities moved quickly. They evacuated 20 more families, set up fences, warning tape, and stationed guards to make sure no one returned to the danger zone. In Tan Mai Commune, during the early hours of November 3rd, a massive landslide struck. Tons of rock and soil tumbled down the hillside, crushing homes and flooding the neighborhood below. Thankfully, everyone had been evacuated in time, no lives were lost. But the destruction was devastating. Entire families lost their homes overnight, and roads connecting nearby villages were completely wiped out. Local police and border guards had to hike through the mud, carrying food and clean water by hand to reach stranded residents. Meanwhile, in Tang Truong Commune, relentless rainfall caused even more landslides, destroying homes, damaging roads, and cutting off vital relief routes. By early morning on November 4th, rivers across Da Nang were rising fast. Neighborhoods near the water were flooded and completely isolated. Traffic came to a standstill. Police, soldiers, and local volunteers worked around the clock to keep people safe. At critical points like the Luong River embankment, emergency crews fought to stop the collapse that threatened hundreds of homes. For hours, rescue teams battled against the pouring rain, stacking sandbags, reinforcing barriers, and blocking the rushing water. Their mission was clear: keep the levee from breaking, no matter what it takes. In Thua Tien Hue, Vietnam, thousands of residents are facing a dangerous situation as heavy rain and rising river levels flood entire neighborhoods. Authorities have rushed to evacuate over 3,000 people from low-lying areas, moving families to safer ground as the water keeps climbing. Downtown Hue has turned into a waterlogged maze. Streets are completely submerged, homes are waist-deep underwater, and people are struggling to move through the currents. Officials are constantly inspecting flood-prone areas, making sure no one is left behind. Safety measures are also in full swing along the coast. Over 1,000 fishing vessels and nearly 7,700 workers have been told to stay docked and secure their boats in storm shelters. Local authorities are urging everyone to stay indoors, follow official weather updates, and be ready to evacuate at a moment's notice. According to Vietnam's National Center for Hydrometeorological Forecasting, rivers in the region are swelling fast. In some areas, like the Thursday Bon River in Nong Son, water levels have already passed the highest danger mark. Experts warn that in the next few hours, floodwaters could rise even higher, up to nearly a meter above warning levels, putting more riverside communities at serious risk. And it's not just the floods. Meteorologists are warning about a high risk of flash floods and landslides, especially in the steep, rain-soaked mountains of Da Nang, Quang Nam, and Thua Tien Hue. The ground is already saturated from days of constant rain. One more downpour could trigger a disaster. Meanwhile, Typhoon Kalmaegi is closing in fast, expected to be one of the strongest storms of 2025. At 11 a.m. on November 4th, the storm's center was tracking over the central Philippines, packing winds of up to 149 kilometers per hour, and it's only getting stronger as it moves toward Vietnam. Authorities are on high alert, preparing for what could be another devastating hit. As the storm intensifies, the people of central Vietnam brace themselves, hoping the worst can still be avoided. The storm is now charging west-northwest at about 25 kilometers per hour, and forecasters say it'll likely enter the South China Sea around November 5th, becoming Vietnam's 13th storm this year. By the morning of November 6th, Typhoon Kalmaegi is expected to be sitting in the middle of the South China Sea, roughly 600 kilometers off Vietnam's central coast. And here's the worrying part, it could strengthen fast, reaching Category 14 with gusts even higher, possibly up to Category 17. That's extremely dangerous. Coastal areas from Da Nang down to Con Hoa are on high alert. Starting the night of November 6th, powerful winds between Category 10 and 12 are expected to hit land, with gusts pushing up to Category 14 or 15. Out at sea, it's going to be worse. Winds could exceed Category 17, and waves may tower up to 10 meters high, turning the ocean into chaos. Authorities are urging all fishing boats and vessels in the storm's path to move out immediately and find shelter before it's too late. The central provinces have already been placed on the highest emergency level. Officials warn that the storm could bring not just violent winds, but also sudden squalls, whirlwinds, and torrential rain lasting from November 6th through the 9th. But that's not the whole story. The region is facing what experts are calling a dangerous weather complex. Typhoon Kalmaegi is combining forces with a strong cold air mass and a tropical convergence zone, creating non-stop rainfall over the area. From Ha Tin down to Thua Tien Hue, rainfall in just 2 days has already reached 150 to 250 millimeters, and in some spots, over 400 millimeters. The ground is soaked, rivers are rising, and the danger of flash floods and landslides is growing by the hour. People across central Vietnam are being warned to stay alert, stay indoors, and prepare for what could be one of the strongest and most destructive storms of the year. The situation in Vietnam's Quang Tri province remains critical. Water levels along the Kien Giang River are still above the highest warning mark, while the Thach Han River continues to surge dangerously close to it. Weather experts say the flooding across central Vietnam will stay high and only recede slowly. But there's more trouble ahead. Starting November 6th, a new wave of heavy rainfall is expected as another typhoon moves in. The National Weather Center has called this one of the most dangerous times for the region. Continuous rain, strong winds, and high waves are combining with the growing risk of landslides, putting thousands of lives and homes in danger. Local authorities are now racing against time. They've been ordered to check all dams and reservoirs, lower water levels to prepare for the next flood, and plan immediate evacuations for residents living in landslide-prone or deeply flooded areas. Officials are urging everyone to follow safety instructions, avoid traveling through flood zones, and do not return home until the government declares it safe. Tonight, and in the days ahead, Vietnam's central region continues its fight against nature's fury, standing strong in the face of disaster. A landslide has already buried several people, and the search continues. Watch our latest update on this heartbreaking situation. Link above. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more real-world updates and stories from around the globe. Your support helps us bring you the truth. Stay tuned and stay safe.